This breakdown, trade review, uh, whatever you would want to call it, is basically me going over the trade that I took on Friday, which was literally the only trade that I had from last week. Yes, that was the only position I had from last week. And yes, I'm using Rick as my wallpaper because I think this is probably one of the greatest shows out there, Rick and Morty. And I just started watching Space Outbound. Oh shit, I can't remember the name. Practically is a new show. I don't know if it's new, but basically it's the same. It's a show from the creators of Rick and Morty, and I just completed watching Ozark. Like hands down, way too good of a series, right? And it's 4:38 a.m. All right, so let's get into it now. Looking at last week, I had one thing in mind, right? Sell, which I sent a video in at the start of the week. I think it was Sunday night or first thing Monday, London Open. I sent a video in breaking down why I would like to see the week to be bearish, which the week was bearish. But guess what? The only trade that I had from that week was a buy position, right? That was the only trade that I had from that week. And my buy position was, I got in literally at the low of the day. So it was on Friday. Got in literally at the low of the day and I got out almost at the high of the day, somewhere around here. I had about an 80 pip trade. So yes, this was what my trade looked like. I got in here, I got out here, which was, I don't mean to toot my horn, pretty cool, right? Getting in at the low, getting out at the high of the day. Now, the reason why, in as much as I knew that, oh, I wouldn't say I knew. I predicted that I would have wanted to see sales happen and all these black candles were happening and I couldn't get in one position was because I couldn't find the right position to scale in at. You have to understand, in as much as this looks like a full-on black candle, price is literally retracing and pulling back down, retracing and pulling back down, retracing and pulling back down. And if you're not careful how you scale in, you can scale in or get in at the point where price is retracing and it literally just slaps you out of the trade. Now, why did I choose to buy when we had all this heavy move here? Now, after I had seen the move on Thursday, I was like, okay, it's probably time for a reversal because of where price had gone into. Now, if we go back to 2016, and yes, you heard me right, 2016. If we go back to 2016 and look at this level here, all right? Go back to 2016 and we look at this, we would have uh, this QM. So we would have this QM here. Now, if you're zooming out and looking at this, you probably think to yourself, okay, fine, there was this QM here, but price had used it here, used it here, used it here. Yes, and you can see when you use it in 2020, look at the big paradigm, like the big move up. Like it literally went back to the high of the range and it's just probably going to be something sketchy. Yep, and then we had this pulling back down, but that's a talk for another day. But what I did was to drop down to the 4 hour time frame. Now I will not change my charts to the 4 hour time frame. If you go down to the 4 hour time frame, you would be able to see that this here is equally a QM. So this here. Now this is what I was interested in. Now I didn't count this right as a first dip in because the break of structure had not happened. So we had the QM, we had the break of structure here, then we had, this multiple other breaks of structures to the right. And then price comes and leaves a double bottom here. Almost a near perfect double bottom. I'll just do this. I wouldn't extend it, but you can see we have double bottoms just resting right above price. So when we had come back in what the year we're currently in, 2022, so price comes back, takes out those double bottoms from here, dips into the QM, the 4 hour QM. I knew that okay, if I do get bullish PA, I would scale in, right? I would take the buy trade and I would see what I can do with price. Now I didn't just buy in here and have my stop loss. I didn't just buy in here and have my stop loss here and thinking, oh, okay, this should work now. No, I waited for extra and several confirmations. Now, the first thing that I did after price had pulled into this level on the daily, the 4 hour, I will just drop down to the 60 minutes. The reason why is because I really do not want to take so much time on this, waffling and just talking so much. So, I'll take this off. So we had the first dip into the zone, Now, I wasn't still interested with this first dip into the zone. I wanted to see if price was still going to clear the buyers here, because as long as I was concerned, the way I look at price was people are probably watching this, right? People are probably watching this, and if this first move is in, there are probably loads of people at this level already buying in, and rejection candle, hammer candle, so many other things, whatever you want to call it, right? So I wanted to wait for the second dip into the zone and probably get a stop rate on price. So we get the second dip into the zone here. So this was the second dip into the zone. Second dip into the zone happens. We have a rate on price. So that's how I saw it. So we had a rate on price, we had our manipulation. Now, when I took this trade, the first question I had to ask myself was, where did I want to get out from? Now, the should I say optimum area I wanted or would have wanted to get out from was here, right? I'll just use this because this was the void field. This was the void field between here and here, right? If you look at this here, so now the pocket that we have between the low of this candle and the high of this candle here, this little pocket here was my fair value gap, right? This is where I would have ideally wanted to exit this trade from. But when I looked at the position, which I'll show you how I refined it, when I looked at the position and refined my entry, I just told myself, you know what, I would be so happy just getting off at the high here instead of waiting for price to either come to the 50% or having a full void fill. I was happy with scaling out as soon as price touched the void fill, right? So let's leave this in place. Excuse me. So leaving this in place, now we come back to this. So we have our manipulation on price, and price starts rallying. So having this at the back of my mind, I scrolled down to the 15 minutes to see if there was something I could find on it. So I scaled down to the 15 minutes to see if there's something I could find on it. Price wasn't really clear at this level, so I scaled down to the 5 minutes. Now when you come down to the 5 minutes, I don't know why this is lagging. This is weird, but okay. I don't know why this happens. If I literally stop the video recording, right, as soon as I click on stop, like it just works, and the laptop is not overheating. I don't know. I don't know. Anyways, we'll just have to manage it for now. So when price gets the first dip into the zone, so now this is our manipulation. So we get the manipulation, and then price rallies. Now when price rallies, I look for what I would call the base candle. Right now, I'm trying to think of a name. I just identify, which is basically the lowest candle that basically sends price rallying this high. So this here was the candle. This one here. I would have to stop this extension. So settings, style, extend rights, cool. So this was the candle here. So now what I wanted to see was price break structure, which we got that. We got our several breaks of structure to the left. We got our several breaks of structure to the left. Price comes back, dips into the zone, right? Rallies higher, comes back, dips into the zone again, right? Now, what I was looking for at this price point, was a price to break structure after the first dip into the zone. Now, this one here doesn't break this structure here, but this candle here breaks this structure, breaks this, right? So now, after I've gotten this confirmation of broken other structures, I've waited for the QM from 2016, price dipping into the zone, the first inducement of liquidity where it first touches the zone, price comes out the second time, raids the level, causes a manipulation. I use the first base candle, price breaks several structures. I wait for price to dip back into the zone. Now you can see how patient I am. You have to understand that I have gone all week without clicking a buy or sell. And I'm still taking these extra confirmations into place because at the end of the day, if you're risking your money, better risk your money properly, right? There's no point in thinking, I think this should work. Like I wanted to have these confirmations in place because I wanted to get a good entry for it. So anyways, we get this, price dips into the zone again. And then finally, I see that shift of this structure, right? When I get a shift of this structure, I look to myself and say, okay, where is the lowest candle at this point? Where is the next base candle? That is where I will be using to get my entry, which was this. Now, this trade was sent out, what time? I think 4 p.m. I will literally try and sneak in the picture right now where you see like the timestamp to it and you see like the 4 p.m. So you wouldn't think I'm probably lying or saying something that I shouldn't say. Anyways, we sent out by 4 p.m. and the trade limit got triggered around 11 or thereabouts. Now, excuse me. Now, I was thinking that this first move down would probably push into the level. But when it didn't, again, I was kind of happy about this because literally, again, I had this on. You see the screenshots. So I had this on. So I knew that price, again, was faking bias in. So when price comes down, consolidates, you can see the quick manipulation. So basically, you can call this an accumulation manipulation distribution, like a smaller time frame. So we accumulate all on this level. We manipulate down, take out the stops on this level, a clean stop rate, manipulation rate, whatever term you use for it. Price is into this level. This is where I had my entry and my stop loss. So now if you look at this, this is what my limits look like. So I think I made this 915 if I'm not wrong. So I had adjusted it a bit to account for spreads just in case price dips into that level and the spreads don't trigger me in. I just didn't want to hear stories. So I had 915 and my stop loss was 815. So I literally had an 8 pip stop loss, 815. So this was it, 915, 815. Oh, wow, this is getting really bad. What the hell? I'll probably have to find something because I don't know why QuickTime does this. As soon as I click record on QuickTime, this happens. This is fucking terrible. Anyways, so when I got into the trade, I literally didn't do anything else. Mind you, this is happening at midnight. I was awake. I can't remember what I was doing, but I was awake. I saw when I got triggered into the trade. As soon as I got triggered into the trade, I went to bed. I said, you know what? I'll wake up tomorrow, London Open, and see where price is at. And by the time I was up by London Open, which is around 7, 8, price had already run to my TP. So yes, this is again. I don't want to go into too much details, but this, if you understand a bit more about price, or at least have some intermediate knowledge on price, it would make sense to you as to what I'm explaining. So yes, this is how I trade. I feel patience sometimes really pays because if I had probably tried doing something stupid during the week, I would probably have to pay for it, right? Maybe by taking losses that I shouldn't have taken, or again, if you're watching paint dry, you end up touching it. So I wasn't even interested. The price wasn't at a key level for me to sell when the whole weekly thing was tanking. I wouldn't be bothered. And when it got to my key level for buys, I waited for extra confirmations before I got in on the trade. Now, when you wait for these extra confirmations, does that mean that your trade will work out? Absolutely not. I've waited a whole week for a trade, right? Trade comes Friday, I think Friday, London Open, and I'm like, oh, this is probably it, right? And I just like it literally raids, like it rails through my stop loss. Like it wasn't up to 3 minutes. I was done. I was stopped out of the trade. I ended the week with a -1. But when I do wait like this for trades, I try to make sure they count and go for those big R's, 5, 7, 8, 10, depending on what the structure is. Now, if I had waited for price to come up this far, yes, maybe I would have gotten 9 hour, but for me, the extra 1 hour wasn't worth the stress. I was happy with 8.09 hour, which again, if you count commissions into it, that kind of sums it up to 8 hour. And because I had waited the whole week, I was confident enough using a full risk on this, so that was an 8% gain. So yes, yeah, the trade was sent at about 4 p.m. and 4 p.m. Yeah, 4 p.m. in the evening gives everyone in the exclusive dojo time to set their limits or to adjust their limits or to use it to frame their own trades. Again, when I do send out trades, it's not necessarily signals in terms of like you have to do exactly what I'm doing. Sometimes if you use it to see, as like an aid for you, like do you want to take the trade? Is that an adjustment you would probably want to make to the trade, or use it as a guide to look at another pair or to look at that same pair? It could be anything. So yeah, this is the review on Friday's 8% trade. All right, peace guys, and I'll see you guys during the week. I don't know if the holiday on Monday and Tuesday applies everywhere in the world, because I know in my country is a holiday on Monday and Tuesday. I suck so much with holidays, and sometimes I find myself trading a day I shouldn't even be in the markets. But I'll have to confirm with investing.com and see yeah, see what the deal is. All right, guys, I am tired as hell. It's again, it's almost 5 in the morning practically. I have to be up by like 6:30. God damn it. Anyways, I hope you guys had a good weekend, and yeah, peace.